How are we all doing? How's your evening going? How's your Thursday evening going, lads and lassies? How we doing this fine evening? We got some boxing to talk about. Excuse me. Jesus. Coughing up a lung there. We've got boxing to talk about. We've got news to talk about. I'm going to let the chat fill up a little bit. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you like the thumbnail. Shout out to Big Dan for making that for me. Big up to him every time. The guy who makes my thumbnails, hell of a lad. But we got to let the chat go up. I'm just going to ask, once it gets a bit busier, we'll have a chat about Sky. We'll have a chat about all that. But I'll also talk about what Mark has been doing his best to support. I'm going to try my best in this stream as well, in whatever way I can. But we'll get a few people in the chat. We'll obviously talk boxing. Obviously, that's why I made the stream as well. We got to talk boxing. But we got to do other things as well. There are other things happening that we need to have a chat about. But let's get the chat to build up. But we will talk about boxing briefly, right? While the chat's building up. Sky Sports no longer showing Eddie. Like, Matchroom and Sky is donezo. It looks anyway. Oh, thank. Do you know what's weird, right? Surely, because I always say Matchroom. Surely Sky Sports would have seen this coming, right? So it kind of has me wondering: have they been like rinsing the hell out of you? Because I said it in the video I done just yesterday evening that over the last year, certainly since Sky started showing boxing again, that the commentary has been damn near unbearable in terms of its biasness towards, and they've always been biased. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's been something that's happened from the get-go. They've always been biased. But over the last year, it's been even worse. And I wonder if they kind of thought to themselves, do you know what? Eddie Hearn and Matchroom might be going. Why don't we try our best to keep them, butter them up and, keep them here, so we'll just talk nothing but what about the house fighters. I think that might have actually done them bad, because we've always complained about Sky. It's been a common complaint. The commentary's always been appalling. But over the last year, it has been damn near unbearable. And, I suspect Sky will do an overhaul, because you had Tony Bellew, and I wonder, this is actually something I'm interested in. Will they have him next Saturday? That's going to be an interest. Will Bellew be on next Saturday's card? Will they be on next Saturday's card? Because he said last time, don't put me on any card where I know the fighter or I have a friend on the card. Well, he was on the Chisora Usyk card and we saw what happened. Will they put him on this card? Will they? That'd be interesting. And obviously Harley Quinn's in the thumbnail. Like, I love that thumbnail. That's a fucking brilliant thumbnail, isn't it, lads? It is fucking beautiful, that thumbnail. Shout out to Dan for doing that. Excellent thumbnail. And MVG, big up to you. I've used some of yours as well. Both you guys are making great thumbnails. I appreciate the work you are doing. But big up to Michael Van Gerwen. Hello, G-Man. Dream team for the zone commentary now. Right. So wait a sec. So if we're talking, because it's going to be, obviously, we're not going to get the US team. So we're not getting the US team whatsoever. We're getting a completely new team for the UK. So they'll obviously want a former fighter there. So obviously Barry Jones. Barry Jones, to me, makes the most sense. He's very knowledgeable. I know he's with MTK, and I wonder if the zone, because the zone have deep pockets, I wonder if their pockets are deep enough to sway him away from MTK. But obviously Barry Jones, I'd obviously love something with the zone, but obviously that ain't gonna happen. Who else? Who else is a good commentator? Andy Clark. Andy Clark is a great commentator. I think he's very good. Alex Steedman, they're two very good. He's underrated, that guy, because when him and Barry Jones are a great team. They're a fantastic team. But Andy Clark doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. I think he's a very good commentator on Sky. I think that he's a lot more impartial. So when he's commentating on the undercard fights, he's very impartial. He's very fair. And I think he does a great job. What does Nathan say? Adam Smith is commentating on the darts at the minute. He is just as bad. He is just as bad as he is on boxing. I can imagine. I know he's done darts before. But you see, if you're bad in one field of commentary, you're bad in another. Like, for example, the main commentator for Sky Sports F1 is a guy called David Croft. I think he commentated on a couple of David Hay fights. He commentates on darts, he commentates on boxing, he commentates on F1. He's appalling at all three. There's no passion. He's very much, it's like he reads off a script, and the worst part is he's got Martin Brundle there in commentary, who is one of the best commentators in F1's history, in my opinion. And Martin, you can tell he gets annoyed. There are times where you can tell he gets annoyed in commentary when Crofty goes off on one of these little, crusades for this, and Brundle's just like, yeah, well, moving swiftly on. That's what he's like. So if you're not a great commentator in one, you ain't going to be much of a commentator in another. But Barry Jones, Alex Steedman, or Andy Clark. People talk about Chris Lloyd. Interesting shout. Who else would they get? I'd imagine Eddie Hearn. Oh, Andy Lee. If Andy Lee is not doing... Now, Andy Lee is someone who I've been a bit lukewarm on him because I think he's a great commentator. And I think that, the Zone have used him before. They used him on the Chisora Park or the Chisora Usyk card. I think that Andy Lee is a great commentator when he wants to be. But there's often been times where I've listened to Andy Lee commentate and I've had to stop and been like, hang on a minute. Because I remember, I can't remember what one it was. It might have been Callum Smith versus Ryder. Or it might have been another one. I can't remember it exactly. But he commentated on a fight that was really close. I can't remember which one it was. But he was way off. And then when he scored Cambrosa Selby, he had Lee Selby winning the fight. He had him winning by a good couple of rounds, actually, which I couldn't understand at all. I thought that was crazy. So Andy Lee, when he's switched on and he's calling it fair, he's brilliant. Andy Lee is a very good commentator, very good. But there are times where I think he kind of maybe, I don't want to say has a vested interest in the fighter, but something like that maybe it's something that he does. Maybe he just kind of thinks too much. Oh, I like this fighter more than the other. And he maybe gives them a bit too much credit. There's a shout. Paul Dempsey. Excellent. When Sky had Paul Dempsey on, it was brilliant. You had Ian Darke, Jim Watt. Jim Watt was a Marmite character. Either loved him or you hated him on commentary. Me personally, I love Jim Watt on commentary. I used to love listening to him. I used to love it when you get someone hurt and you'd hear that and he's like, he needs to hold. I don't know if he can hold. I used to love listening to Jim Watt on commentary. Some people didn't like him and I could never I used to love listening to him on commentary. But Jim Watt was always good. I liked him. Ian Darke was probably the best out of them all. I mean, when Ian Darke was commentating, he was brilliant. But you see, these guys, they're not going to go to the Zone, I would imagine, unless you're talking crazy money. But, Andy Clark, Paul Dempsey, guys like that, they'd all be just fantastic. Is decent. The rest are... Yeah, see, Andy Clark, he only commentates on the small undercard fights. And for me, he needs to be doing the full card because he's fantastic at commentating. He's really good. He's impartial. That was brilliant. Yeah. Crazy D3 has it there. Glenn McCrory. Where was it? Come on, let me click on that. There we go. Jim Watt, Ian Darke, Glenn McCrory. They were all fantastic. Glenn McCrory, sometimes he could be a bit all over the place, in terms of his scorecards, to be honest with you. But Glenn McCrory was a great commentator as well. But Ian Darke, Jim Watt, Jim Watt was just... And Nick Harmer, big up to... I haven't seen your question actually earlier. I'll big you up now in a sec for that. But yeah, big up to Nick. Jim Watt was my favorite, as he knew exactly what he was... I loved listening to Jim Watt. And it was so sudden, his retirement, wasn't it? I think he commentated on the Crawler Barrosa fight, Ishmael Barrosa. And then he retired. And I remember thinking, what? Because I loved listening to him. It's just this whole style. And when the fighters would get hurt, and he'd get real into it. It was just fantastic listening to him. He was brilliant. And some people were critical of him because he wasn't impartial. What was it? No, he was impartial, but people felt he was actually too against the home fighter. So, with Sky now, the common complaint is they're too biased towards the home fighter. A lot of people used to give him stick that he didn't give the home fighter enough credit, which is crazy to think. Could you imagine that Sky at one stage were criticizing their commentators for not giving their home fighter enough credit? And now it's the polar opposite. Now, like Ebony Bridges could bleed and fucking knock Shannon Courtney out. Oh, it was clearly a slip, wasn't it? That's what it is. Literally, that's what it is. They have a rematch. You know, Shannon Courtney gets knocked out in the first round. Must have been just she must be an epileptic or something. We didn't know it already, and the lights got to her. That must be what it is. They just won't give them any credit. They just won't give them any credit. What the fuck happened there? Stream all right, lads. Yeah, it is. Just I have it running in the background here, and it told me there was an error, but it looks like it was just my phone that was the error, and it major. But big up to Nick, big up to G-Man and the whole chat. If you could, lads and lassies, smash the like button on the way in. We got 36 people in the building, and I missed a load of your questions. Big up to Rich, love the thumbnail. Yeah, big up to Alex Jones. Big up to you, my man. Right, lads, as you'll notice, I just want to say it now while we have a few in the chat, right? Never, ever, 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 ever do I ask for anything on this channel. Never ask for super chats, anything like that. But be a guy from the BDA family, okay? Gonzalez, right? Gonzalo, I should say, apologies. His son, Mateo, is in a bad way in hospital. They're in the Philippines. And basically, they've set up a GoFundMe page. They're looking to get some donations, anything, because he's attached to these tubes now. It's quite expensive. And basically, that's what Mark Unrival has been doing for a while. He's been doing that stream, you know, for a while now. And we're trying to get as much as we can. I've already given some. I never asked for super chats or anything like that. But if you could, the link is there. I have it pinned. If you could even £2, any little bit helps from Mateo. Because he's a little warrior. And he's part of the boxing family. You know, a little warrior, part of the boxing family. And I want to see him. And, you know, I want to see him, you know, have a healthy, happy life. He's only a baby. All right. So I don't ask for anything. If anyone gives a super chat, what I'll do is I'll just donate it on my behalf towards that fund. So if anyone, I never ask for super chats, by the way, but if anyone does, I'll donate it. If you give me £5, I'll just donate it on my end. Or if you could, don't ask for much, but just help this little guy out. I really hope that we can help him out. We take positives from it that he's with his dad, and his dad's got, you know, him there. But if you even just want to have a look, it's pinned at the top. I'd appreciate if you could. I'm gonna just ask it there. That's all I want to ask. It's gonna be such a relief not hearing Adam Smith. Yeah. Big up to G, man. Big up to John Wayne. I'm not from the UK, but is Eddie leaving Sky Sports a good thing? It's a very good thing. It's a very good thing for many, many different reasons. I think that Sky Sports now at this stage, I don't know. I just think that Sky Sports as a whole is just they've gone to the dogs over the last few years. Yeah, they've been putting on good shows. You can thank Eddie Hearn for a lot of that, but they've just been going from worse to worse. The commentary is terrible. They don't give fighters, like the away fighters, any credit. They're putting fights on pay-per-view left, right, and center. Sky Sports, for those who don't know, I think in the UK it's like £60. I think it's like £60 for a Sky Sports subscription. It's dear, right? It's not cheap at all. So you get your Sky Sports subscription, and then you're paying for football, if you like football, golf, rugby. They do a loads of different sports, F1, darts, so many different sports. But like, as I've said several times, I like football. I do watch it, but I wouldn't religiously watch it. I love F1, but I could watch that loads of different ways. There's plenty of streaming sites I could watch it on. And boxing, that's it. I like playing golf, but I don't like watching it. I don't like rugby at all. Don't like that sport at all. Nothing against the guys, but I just don't find it at all entertaining. I really, really don't find it at all entertaining whatsoever. And then after that, there's nothing. So I'm paying a lot of money because I pay Sky in my house. I'm paying a lot of money for something that I'm not watching a lot of. Whereas with the Zone, I can pay. It's not going to stay £2, obviously. But say it goes up to £7 or £7.99 for argument. So you just chuck that number out there. It's better than paying damn near £100 because I have BT Sports separate. So it's like, I think Sky in Ireland is like £70 plus pay-per-view. You don't get BT Sports with it. So you're paying an extra 20 quid on it's a lot of money. And I'd rather just, if I have to keep the BT Sport subscription, I'll do it because it's only 20 quid. But boy, it's dear. Don't worry, G man. Big up to Lee every time, man. Big up to you. Yeah, it's Nick's hit the nail on it. It's financial. It's the financial side of it. Like if Sky Sports just did boxing where it was subscription based and Eddie Hearn was doing it there, I really wouldn't care, to be honest with you. I'd be like, yeah, the commentary is crap, but still, I'd be like, well, look, if I'm paying for what I want. That would be brilliant if Sky Sports did that, where you just pay for what you want. So you get all these sports stations for so much money, but like some of them you'll never watch. Like literally, don't watch rugby, Super League or Rugby League. Don't watch that much football. And if I do, pre-lockdown, I'd watch it in a pub. I'd watch it in a pub with the lads or something like that. So I wouldn't, it's just I'd watch it there, or like I wouldn't if it was a big game or something. I was sat at home, I'd probably watch it. But other than that, I'd mainly watch a movie. But F1, like the race, last weekend, yeah, I'll watch that. And same with boxing. That's it. Don't really watch darts. Darts has really gone to shit without the fans. It's really not the same. Sky is too expensive, in my opinion. Certainly not worth the value. The product's been watered down consistently. Exactly. It has been watered down. Like think of it like this. When's the last really good Sky Fight Night card we've seen? I'm not talking about pay-per-view. I'm talking about just Sky Fight Night. Subscriptions. It's free to all who have the subscription. What's the last good Sky Fight Night? One that comes to mind is when Amir Khan fought Samuel Vargas. That was what? Jesus, when was that? 2018? Josh Kelly's card against that lad, that fella, what's his name? Avanesian. That was all right. That's it. They're the only two I can think of. Much cheaper, all good. Your thoughts on Canelo Saunders? Oh, we know my thoughts on that. But Canelo's going to win it. Canelo's going to win it legitimately, though. There's not going to be a robbery, I don't believe. But we might see the scorecards being a bit too wide. But he's going to win it legitimately, I think. Big up to Ra. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. You got to get that. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks in there. Always. Better for hardcore boxing fans. Exactly. Could you imagine Ty Mbu on the zone? They would never let him on the zone. Never. I'd pay to watch him on the. Can you imagine Ty Mbu commentating? Yeah, just watching this with a bottle of Echo Falls. Yeah, look at that Shannon Cuntney one. Yeah, look at that. Look what she's doing there. You could picture Ty Mbu. He wouldn't be impartial at all. G-Man, you watching? Oh, yeah, I'll watch that. It looks all right, actually, that card. It really does. And these are the things I love. I love the little span. Some of them cards are good, real good. The Canelo allowing, or the zone allowing Canelo to fight in the UK fight. This split should be hired. Can't see him fighting. I can never see Canelo fighting in the UK. Can never see that. Mike Costello. I've never really listened to fights on Radio 5, mate, to be honest with you. I've never really listened to some of those fights on Radio 5. Never. We don't really get BBC Radio 5. Oh, yeah, big up to that. Yeah, has anyone else seen that? Mark Breland with Jamal Charlo. Obviously, he's still with Ronnie Shields. It's interesting. Be interesting to see how that goes. Breland, I think, does have a good boxing brain. I think he is a good trainer, but I think that with Deontay Wilder, the arrogance of Wilder meant that whatever Breland tried to teach, as Breland said himself, he would try and teach him something, but he was told other times, don't bother if the champ's in a bad mood. So it's like, you can't really gauge. You can't really gauge how good. I think Breland is a good trainer. He obviously was the only one who gave a damn about Deontay Wilder in that fight. But yeah, I reckon. Jamal Charlo is not exactly doing. He's not covering himself in glory. His little brother is. I know they're twins, but I think he's older. Is really doing the business. But I still hold out in him. I said he's a good fighter. He is. I'm telling you now, he is. He's a good fighter. Everything better than Oscar commentating. That was ridiculous. Absolutely. He sounded all over the place on commentary on that. It was crazy. And what's very interesting is actually someone's just mentioned, when I think of darts as well, someone mentioned it there. For those who don't know, Obviously, darts will still be shown on Sky. Eddie Hearn is now the chairman of the PDC, so we will be seeing Eddie Hearn on our Sky TVs at PDC events. I can the big ones anyway. I can imagine. So we're not through with Eddie Hearn on Sky just yet, but for boxing we definitely are. For boxing we definitely are. Why was J Love talking about cocky to Tyron Woodley's when he knew that Tyron Woodley was trying to kill him outside the boxing ring? Mate, I've literally no idea about that, to be honest with you, mate. No idea. It's not something I even heard about, man, to be 100%. Gavin McDonald, yeah, he's fighting that Gago guy. As is it Andrea Gago or something like that? He was stopped by Lee Selby. That was a bullshit stoppage, to be fair, a couple of years ago. He's never really been, would you say, European level, fringe European level, to be fair. So, sure, I would imagine McDonald is, when he stepped at the world level and he's come short, but I would imagine he should have it in him to beat this guy tomorrow night. A sip of water. Even though Hunter is very mobile at the weight, would you agree he should get rid of some of the fat around the waistline to be even faster? Yep. And condition up a bit, he'd be even better. Yeah, he definitely is carrying a little bit of extra belly fat at heavyweight. That's for definite sure. And he's vegan, apparently, isn't he? I'm nearly sure he's vegan. You wouldn't think a vegan would have extra belly fat, to be honest with you, given the fact of what their diet consists of. But yeah, cruiserweight, he was definitely a lot leaner. That's why I suspect Michael Hunter could still do cruiserweight, but he's choosing to fight at heavyweight. He is going to be very useful. I've been saying this for a long, long time, and I'll still be saying it. He is very useful at heavyweight, and he is going to. I don't know about Filip Hrgović. I think Hrgović might just have the style to offset him, but there are plenty. Like Dylan White, I'd pick Hunter over Dylan White instantly. Seriously, instantly, I'd pick Michael Hunter over Dylan White. Big up to Joe. What's happened, G-Man? It's all good, man. It's all good. Yes, Denzel Bentley Felix Cash this weekend. Excellent fight. Lads and lassies, anyone in the chat, there is 4-1 odds on Denzel Bentley to win on points. They are literally, you want to take them odds up. You are going to want to take them odds up now. Go on to Paddy Power or one of them websites and put money on Denzel Bentley to win on points. 4-1. He's the underdog. I don't know how he's the underdog, because Felix Cash, I've watched so many of his fights. I've never rated the guy. I literally never rated the guy. Like, he's okay. He does the basics very well, but he's nothing to write home about. And Denzel Bentley looks versatile. He's a very good fighter, is Denzel Bentley. Very good. Very impressed with him. I actually think he'll stop Felix Cash personally, but 4-1, I wouldn't rule out points though. But 4-1 odds on points, I mean, Jesus, I'm just going to go on to Paddy Power, and I'm going to tell you what it returns, because I'm not great with maths. It has to be said. Where's the boxing? We get boxing. But yeah, Denzel Bentley's the underdog. The bookies have him as the underdog. So honestly, I'm shocked about that. Yeah, that's the first thing it gives you is, where are we at? Bentley versus Cash. Let's have a look-see at this. Let's have a look-see. Method of victory. Bentley to win. The points has changed slightly. It was 4-1. It's gone up to 9-2. 20 quid returns 110 quid. So you're up 90 quid for 20 quid on Denzel Bentley on points. I think that's a reasonable bet. 7-2 on KO TKO. Yeah, the KO TKO is less. It's 70 quid return. But still on points, I'm telling you now, there's money to be made on Denzel Bentley winning that fight. Seriously. There's money to be made there, lads and lassies. I can't believe he's the underdog. I really can't. Steve Thompson, nearly 4K. Yeah, what are we at now on subscribers? We are at exactly 3,980. So I need exactly 20 more subs. Hopefully I should do it by end of the weekend, middle of start of next week. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Hopefully. And then it's just another milestone. We're on to 5K then. Sky now have got a The Sky now have got a polished fell Nelson and a flat earther. They're probably gonna make changes. You see, Nelson's been there for years. They'll probably keep him, but I reckon they'll get rid of a few of the Matchroom guys. Big up to Tony. What's good, G? How you been? I'm brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant. As is always the case these days. I've got a lot of good going on. Send you a link in private. I will, of course. I will do it now, actually, whilst I have it there. I think I still have it copied. I will send you that now because, like I said, it's for a great little cause. Fellow member of the boxing community. You got to help him out. Definitely. It's for a good cause. Even if it's only £2. £2. It's one step closer to Mateo getting to where he needs to get. You know? So, all in a good cause. I'm anything to help out someone else. You know, that's me. Anything to help out another friend. Did I see the interview with Billy Joe's father? I did. Honestly, I did. He's always been. Remember he threatened to fight Billy Joe or fight Eddie Hearn a couple of years ago. That's why I can't understand. That's why I just couldn't understand why he signed with it. Like, I know it's just what the hell. It was just like, holy shit. Like, why would he sign with Eddie Hearn after all he said to them? He'll pick those who are affected at pumping Matchroom propaganda. I don't think, to be honest with you, mate, right? I've said it once, I'll say it again. I think that all the crap that goes on is more Sky than Eddie Hearn. Like, seriously, I think that if it was up to Eddie Hearn, a lot of these shows would be very different. And you wouldn't have as much, you know what coming out. I think it's mainly Sky. I'm genuinely sure. I think it's mainly Sky who come out with this BS and not Eddie Hearn. And I just see Nick Armour put a chat there saying, where's the interview? It's on Boxing Social, Nick. It's on. I watched it last night. It's on Boxing Social. But I think it's more so Sky as opposed to. I think if it was up to Eddie Hearn, he wouldn't give a shit. Seriously, I think it's more Sky who come out with this kind of crap. And hopefully, you're never going to get rid of it fully. But hopefully, the zone will be more boxing and just what's going on rather than pumping out the you know what. You know, I'll never. Like Adam Smith, you know, even prior to 2020, he's been just. Fuck me. He's just. I don't even know what to say. Like, absolute joke of a man. That's what he is. I will root for Bentley, but hard fight. He has some power and versatility, but Cash is physically strong and rugged. He can punch and will make it rough. Honestly, mate, like I see what you're getting at there, but I've seen Cash so many times, and every time I see it, I'm just like, it's the same basic thing. You know, I don't know if his power is all that. You know, Jack Cullen, he succumbed to the pressure in the end, but he was taking them shots from Felix Cash for fun. And this is a guy who got stopped in a round by Roy Sheehan a couple of years ago. Roy Sheehan's not a puncher at all. And he looked like bleeding Adonis Stevenson in there against Joe Cullen. And that's a 30-something-year-old Roy Sheehan who'd only just turned pro the month before. And, you know, he beat the crap out of Joe Cullen in a round. I've never rated Cash. It's the same basic thing. And I think that Denzel Bentley, when I watched him against Mark Heffron in the rematch, I was unbelievably impressed. I was like, holy, he has elements to this game I didn't even thought were there. And I think he's going to stop Felix Cash personally. But Paddy Power have a 9-2 on Denzel Bentley to win on points. 20 quid returns 110. So you profit at 90 quid. I'm thinking of sticking money on that. Like, if you done 20 quid either way, because I just can't see Denzel Bentley not winning this fight. You're up money anyway. You know, I just can't see anything other than Denzel Bentley. And like Eddie Hearn, I think that if Eddie Hearn really did think much of Cash, he would have tried his hardest to get this fight over the line onto Sky. It would have been grand to put that on the Matchroom card. You know, it's coming up. Great undercard fight. You know, Buatsi's undercard, something like that. I just think that Eddie Hearn Cash has been with Eddie Hearn for a while. He knows. I think deep down the Cash is going nowhere. I did it through Mark Unrivaled. He's keeping the live going, even though it's his birthday. It is his birthday today, actually. Happy birthday to Unrivaled Boxing. Mark from Unrivaled Boxing Talk. Big up to him. It was supposed to finish today. Big up to him. Yep. And I seen Unrivaled actually in the chat come true. Absolutely massive. And big up to Dell, actually. Shout out to Blue Collar, that thumbnail. Yeah, big up to Dan for making the thumbnail. Absolute big up to him. Big up to Unrivaled, right? As I said, I have that in the chat. I have it pinned. If you could, it's for a good cause. Even if it's only a quid, 2 quid, you donate, and it will help little Mateo. He's a fighter. He is going to be telling stories in years to come. And I hope I get to hear them. I hope I'm around to hear them about all this. And like I said, if anyone gives a super chat, I never ask. I never ask. But if anyone does give a super chat, I'll match that with a donation. So if someone gives me 5 quid, I'll donate 5 quid to Mateus. That's how we do it. We're keeping this going. We're keeping this going. A big up to Mark. God bless. Big up to you. Happy birthday to Unrivaled Boxing. I'll pop that in the chat. Happy birthday to Unrivaled Boxing. There we go. I have that in the chat now as well. So big up to Mark every time. Big up to Mark. There you go. Happy birthday, Unrivaled. Cash is better than Heffron. I'll give you that. He is. But I still just can't see anything other than the Denzel Bentley win. Really, I'm very, very confident in picking him to win this fight. What channel? I think I said that it's Boxing Social. They released it last night. He is going in a lot more. Like with Billy Joe, you could tell he was upset, but he was holding back. His dad's just pissed. It's as simple as that. He's not shouting, but he's just really not happy. Can't imagine Billy Joe and Eddie Hearn will be working together post this. The Premier League should launch their own streaming services, cut out the middleman. That would probably do seriously good subscriptions, Crazy D. Seriously. That would probably do a hell of a lot of subscriptions. I think that's the way sports going. I think that's the way it's going to go in the long run, that we're just going to end up with, because it makes more sense. You pay for what you want. If you're a football fan, a crazy football fan, and I mean that in the nice way, as in, but you watch every match, you love football, get an app that lets you watch the football. If you're like a boxing fan, get an app that lets you watch the boxing. Same with F1. Pay for what you want. That should be how it is, the choice, because like, fuck me, snooker, and golf. I like playing golf, but I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to sit down and watch golf. I don't really get the rules of it either. I know that I know the rules of it, but like, I know how it works, like, but I just don't have it in me to sit through it. Do I watch Boxing Lowdown? Yeah, I do. I'm subscribed to Boxing Lowdown. Big up to those guys. Daryl is a good guy, and Laurie. Yeah, I watched their podcast. Big up to Boxing Lowdown. Daryl and Laurie's podcast on a Thursday. No, I know Boxing Lowdown. Hopefully he gets more subscribers. He's I think about 700 and something now. Hopefully he gets to 1,000 soon. Big up the Boxing Lowdown. No, I know him. I watch him. Eddie moved darts and snooker to the zone as well. I wouldn't actually be shocked, to be honest with you. That's actually a good question, because I know that. I wonder what. You see, it all depends on what deals they have with Sky. But would I be? You see, PBC have their own streaming service. You see, the way darts is, right? Darts is it's a tour. It's a bit like a PGA Pro Tour, where they have the televised events, but then they have the European Tour events, which are streamed. So they're at like arenas when we have fans, but they're streamed. And then they have the Pro Tours, which are behind closed door events. And bear in mind, they were behind closed doors long before 2020. They're streamed on PDC TV. So I would imagine, I don't know how you do that. Would they offer a service to zone where you get everything? I don't know. Or would they make it as though you get the zone? Because I think it's like 60 quid a month for PDC. It's quite dear. Would they be willing to pay that? It'd still work out cheaper, to be fair, than paying Sky. To be fair. Your Sky package is over 90 a month. Yeah, mine's over 100 a month. It's dear, Nick. Really is. Like, it's only I've always known it was dear, but it really is dear. It's expensive. It's better for what you don't, for how much you don't need. You know, that sort of way, mate, where it's like, I don't need this, but if I don't have it, I'll lose, XYZ. It's not good. So the zone, I'm not interested. Exactly. The zone is great. I think the zone is fantastic. And I don't understand how anyone could think otherwise and wish for it to, the zone will fail. We want Sky. Nah, man. The zone will get EPL right soon. So their price will go up. Yeah, look, we have to be realistic. It's not going to be like £1 or €1.99, £1.99 is fantastic. It really is. It's not always going to be there. It's not always going to be that. And God knows, whenever they do, I think they were trying to get Bundesliga. Bundesliga is not bad. The zone will be €11 with pay-per-view. Hopefully no pay-per-view, because they said they want to get rid of pay-per-view. So hopefully no pay-per-view. But 11 quid is still not bad, mate. It's not bad. Even football games, how many do you watch? Most just follow our club and maybe some big games. Yeah, I really only watch United, but there's certain games I'd watch, There's certain games I'd watch. To be honest with you, I don't really watch a lot of football. I'd mainly watch it. As I said, I'd mainly watch football with my mates, with the lads. Other than that, I wouldn't. If I knew like City played Villa last night, I wasn't rushing to my TV to watch it. Sort of way. I was happier to stay in Mark's panel. BT barely have any fights. Not worried keeping. Yeah, they only put on the Frank Warren cards, to be fair, but it's nowhere near as dear. Warrington Lara, the rematch. Lara, definitely. I don't care if there's fans, styles make fights. I think Lara stylistically is all wrong. Thinking about giving Sky the boot as well, G. Yep. They will be trying their best to hang on to customers now, so they could get a few quick knocked off the bill at least. If they did that, that would be something. I still wouldn't keep it, but at least it'd be something. At least to show they're trying. Good evening. Big up to Liam. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. Of course, you always got to get that. Yeah, that was good. That was a great non-pay-per-view fight. That was originally pay-per-view, and thank God they didn't put it on pay-per-view in the end. Imagine Ty Boot coming face-to-face with Eddie Hearn after what Ty Boot said about Barry and you know who. Yeah. Has anyone ever seen that video? I think it's a True Blood Sport, where they ask Eddie Hearn, have you seen any of Ty Boot's videos? And he just says, yeah, I have. And that was it. They left it there. It was just, you seen any of Ty Boot's videos? Yeah, I have. All right. Darts is huge for Sky after football, plus some cricket. Again, like cricket. I never watch cricket. If they lose Premier League rights, it will. Yeah, that will crush them. G-Man, can you get Kotaski? Can you contact Kotaski to get next women boxer on your show? I don't know who the next woman boxer will be on my show, mate. To be honest, we'll get someone. Who knows? But yeah, I can always ask him. Who does he know? Well, I don't know who I'm going to get on next. It's a surprise. Sky, I think, to be honest, the next fighter I'm going to interview is going to be male, definitely. It's definitely going to be male. I know that. Sky dying would be good for us. Hopefully it happens. Well, Sky F1 is good. F1 is big on Sky. Yeah, Sky F1 is big. It's just, again, like as I say, like David Croft is just like Adam Smith. He's just like Adam Smith. Adam Smith's worse, but David Croft ain't far off. David Croft is just annoying. He really is. Yeah, lads, if 45 in the chat, if you could, smash the like button, please, on the way in or out. Eddie is chairman of Snookers. Well, I didn't know that. Well, Barry Hearn stood down, as chairman of Matchroom in general, so Eddie's taken over pretty much everything. I wonder what Frank Smith's going to do. That Frank Smith guy, fuck me. Jesus Christ. What we got here? As long as we see well-matched fights, regardless of network, is good in my opinion. I don't see any fans can moan at fights like Cash Bentley, no Congo. Yeah, Metcalf Cheeseman, that was a hell of a fight. That was a hell of a fight. Does nobody know anything about that dumb kid, Jake Paul? Could care literally less about it. The only fight I want to see Jake Paul in is against a legit boxer who can punch. Seriously, put him in there with a legit boxer who can punch and watch him get his head taken clean off. Yeah, the McDonald twins are boring as fuck to watch. They're not fun at all. Jamie McDonald, Gavin McDonald's more entertaining, to be fair. Jamie McDonald is just bland. Gavin McDonald is a little bit better, but neither can punch. That's the problem. They're just there. They're both pretty good boxers, to be fair. Jamie was a bit underrated. Jamie McDonald stuck around the bantamweight way too long. He looked terrible. That's one of the worst I've ever seen a fighter when he weighed in for the Inoue fight. He looked terrible in that fight at the weigh-in. He literally, God knows what he did. But God, he looked terrible. I remember reading that. You think it's a 50-50 fight? Cash has a chin. Wellborn buzzed him a bit, but Wellborn can punch a bit. I know his record doesn't suggest it, but he's definitely heavy-handed. I don't know. I still think Bentley is just going to be too accurate. I think Bentley can punch. Josh Taylor is one to watch. Taylor is great. That's a good shout, Ben. Carl Frampton is a good pundit. And I could easily see DAZN coming and approaching him and saying, well, do you want it? Easily. Carl Frampton's a very good pundit, very underrated pundit. Certain things he said that I disagree with, like when he slated Daniel Dubois for quitting. I mean, it's like, really? But Carl Frampton does know boxing. He is very good. Bentley adapted well in the second Heffron fight, showed skill. Cash has pummeled most as well. His best win is Jack Cullen. Wellborn had too many miles on the clock. Yeah, if that was the Wellborn that fought Hurt, then that would have been interesting. That would have been very interesting. But Wellborn got knocked out by Metcalf the fight after. Imagine people, he was outboxing Jarrett Hurd. And he was. And people had Jarrett Hurd at the time on their pound for pound lists. And James or Wellborn was outboxing him. Imagine. Jarrett Hurd is absolute garbage. Like, he's fun to watch, but God almighty, he just is big. He's a weight bully. That's all he is. And I think that's why he's not gone to middleweight, because he knows the minute he moves up to people who are just as big as him, he's fucked. Get Paulie back. Get Paulie Malignaggi back. They'd have to offer him some money, though. Jack Cullen is better than Heffron. I don't know about that. Cullen is improved, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's better than Heffron. He's good. He's a good chin, he's aggressor. I think it's a coin toss. Well, I'll be out Saturday night, so I'll probably be talking about it the next day, because I am out with my friends, and I am meeting my friends all day Saturday. So we're having a little COVID party. So I'll be covering that the next day. Cash is there to be hit. He is very rough. His power seems all right. I wouldn't say he's a devastating puncher, but he's definitely not feather fisted. Looks like the kind of guy who would have a scrap all night. Yeah, he's definitely there to have a scrap. He does have good boxing ability, to be fair, Felix Cash, but it's nothing incredible. Like, I remember Hatman doing a video on Felix Cash before he turned pro. And I remember watching him early on thinking, well, if Hatman's covering this guy early on, he must be something. And he just looked fairly run-of-the-mill. And I was like, in the nicest way, I was like, all right. But he just, and Hatman knows prospects. Like, he knows good fighters when he covers them, especially early on. And I was just like, yeah, he looks fairly run-of-the-mill. So I was thinking, maybe I'm missing something. But ever since then, I've just been like, yeah, he just looks fairly run-of-the-mill. I wonder if we will see big pay-per-view style cars in the zone under their pricing model. Well, they did say they want to get rid of. They want to be the guys who killed the pay-per-view. So maybe. Holy mother of God, I'm missing loads of questions here. I'm gonna skip a few. Apologies, people. Do you think AJ might stay with Sky or do his own shows on Sky with 258 management? Yeah, you see, like, that's the thing we need to take into consideration. We have Dylan White and AJ still theoretically allowed to fight on Sky. It has to be negotiated. But Dylan White might think to himself, well, hang on a minute. I can put on a show on Sky. I can have Wadley. I can have Babbage. Who else does he have? Does he have someone else as well? But he could put on his managed fighters on the undercard and vice versa with Anthony Joshua. So if they're trying to branch out into the promoting and management, it makes sense to stay with Sky. But is it financially? But like, if the zone offer them so much money and say, well, you can promote with Sky, but you get this much money, but you could go and fight in the zone and you'll get this much, they might just turn around and say, well, hang on a minute, what the? I'll take the money. I'll take that big fat rake of cash. I hope Kellis Sauerland ends up being. I hope so. I like Kellis Sauerland. He's cool. He gets a lot. He likes the band. He doesn't mind. I remember when the famous thumbnail of him, and the first thing he's saying is he's like, "Oh, I get some love. Keep the comments coming, lads." He's just so funny. So Kellis, big up to Kellis Sauerland. He's the kind of like he's the avatar. Look at him there. Look at him there. You can't beat the thumbnail though that I done on this. The thumbnail for this video or for this stream is the best. Look at that for a thumbnail. That's what you call a thumbnail. Adalale is fighting Sakalowski. That's a good fight. People, Kamil Sakalowski, right, is a very, very useful journeyman. And he's a tough night's work for anybody. Victor Vickers, did he stop Kamil Sakalowski or did he go to points with him? But Kamil Sakalowski, his record, you do wonder. And, you know, it's things like this. You look at a journeyman, and Sakalowski is a journeyman, it's fair to say. But you look at Sakalowski, you just think, if he was managed properly and he turned pro with a bit of backing, he wouldn't have won world titles. But how far could he have gone? Because there's definitely, he can punch. He's got a bit of ability. He's got a decent chin. You know, he's been stopped a few times, yeah, but he takes these fights. He's a truck driver. She's always shown a decent chin. Yeah, he's been stopped by guys like Dylan White, but for the most part, he's got a decent chin. And for me, you look at him and you just think, if he turned pro with a management behind him and he'd been given, you know, the right fights instead of short notice fights as the away fighter, where might would he have ended up? Could he have got to European level? Because he's definitely useful. He's shown that. For my money, he beat Lucas Brown. Clearly, he dropped Lucas Brown in Scotland. He won every round. He didn't get the decision. Why did he not get the decision? Because in, I think, 3 weeks' time, Lucas Brown was set to fight Dave Allen. Obviously, they weren't going to give Kamil Sakalowski the decision. That was just blatant. If a guy is going to fight in the main event of the O2, you're not going to give him a decision. And he won the fight. Kamil Sakalowski. There's no question he won. He won every round. Glad to catch G-Man live. Big up to you, George C. I'm expecting some fallout between. Oh God! Oh man! Yeah. Oh, he's not. If Eddie Hearn stays, he's not staying with. Or if Billy Joe stays fighting, he's not staying with Sky. Got rid of Sky Sports. Just can't justify. Can't justify the cost. Yeah, exactly, Del. Exactly. It's extortionate. It really is. Yeah, Sky Sports cricket. I mean, I look, if you like cricket, that's fine. But damn, I tried watching it a few times and I was just like, what the hell? And those test games can go on for hours, and you see the fans there, and it's like, you know, I always find it funny when the fans catch the cricket ball. Like if you look at Sky Sports News and they hit it into the stands when the fans actually catch it. That's always funny. Or when they miss the catch real bad, it's like they go for like one-handed catch and they drop it or slip. That's when it gets funny. You know, you see the little mistakes and all. But for the most part, no. Darts mainly on Sky. Yeah, Chris Mason. Chris Mason does commentary on boxing from time to time. He's not a bad he's not a bad commentator, Chris Mason. He's a funny guy, Chris Mason, actually. Chris Mason is not a bad commentator. And he tells it like it is. He doesn't give a shit. Like Chris Mason will just, you know, he just tells it like it is. That's Chris Mason in a nutshell. Do I watch snooker? No, I like to play snooker, but I don't watch it. It's like golf. I don't watch them. Sky Sports cricket. Cricket is like the biggest sport in India. I can't think of any other country that it would be their biggest sport. I know it's big in Australia and New Zealand. Hannah Jones. The name rings a Hannah. Oh, yeah. No, I've seen her. I think she follows me on Twitter, actually, or that's some other Hannah. Could be so. I know there's a female fighter called Hannah who follows me on Twitter. Because it came up there the other day. And Sandy Ryan. I've heard the name, but I'll have to. Name rings a bell, but like button pressed. Hope you're doing well. Joe, big up to you, my man. I am doing absolutely fantastic. I hope you are too. Yes, I hope you are too. I'm so old. We had the black and white when I was a kid. Used to watch snooker. Yeah. Oh, mate. I was lucky. I was born in the 90s. We didn't have black and white. It was color. It was color all the way. What happened to Usyk is he got a fight lined up. I think they're waiting to see what's happening with Fury AJ before confirming the Joe Joyce fight. I'm picking Joe Joyce in that fight. Honestly, I'm picking Joe Joyce to win that fight. I honestly have literally, mate, until all this KSI stuff came out last year, I had no idea who KSI was. I had no idea who Jake and Logan Paul were. I still don't really know. I think KSI plays FIFA and makes music or something like that. But I still have no idea what the hell Jake Paul and Logan Paul do. What they've done. Neither do I. But like honestly though, like they're in around my age. And I know they're YouTubers. I have no idea what they did or how they got, like literally, I no idea what they did or who. Until this whole boxing thing came out, I was just like, who the hell are these people? You know, KSI's name rang a bell, all right, but Jake and I never heard. I literally, there are channels, right, who have millions of subscribers, and I have never remotely heard of them. It's literally never heard of them. What about Lucas Brown dive yesterday? I honestly don't think it was a dive. I think Lucas Brown is just shot to pieces. Honestly, like I think that Shigaev fight was the last, and I think he was juiced up to the eyeball in that fight. I used to think he was spiked. I genuinely, hand on heart, used to think he was spiked. And then he failed again. And then I saw how he looked against Dylan White, and I thought, you know what? He probably wasn't. And it does take a lot to change my mind. But I was like, you know what? He probably wasn't. He honestly probably wasn't. 50 now in the chat. Let's make it 4. How many likes do we have, actually? Because I haven't been checking the likes. If you could, 30 likes. If you could, smash the like button. We get to 40 likes. I'll be a happy G. I'll be a very happy G. He's been shot for years. Now he's still fight. He's still going to fight. I was listening to the Boxing Squared's video yesterday, and shout out to Boxing Squared. Has an excellent. Boxing Squared is the go-to channel for heavyweights, as far as I'm concerned. Boxing Squared is the #1 channel who he covers the heavyweights. #1 in my opinion, from New Zealand. He released the video, and in the video he had David or Lucas Brown saying he's going to keep fighting. It's not his last fight. I hope he changed his mind. The right was on the wall Brown when he got stopped by Allen. His best win was when he was right at the hill. Yeah. Well, I don't think I never rated Brown even when he was undefeated. I did think he had the potential to beat Shigaev at the time, although I thought Shigaev was a little too well schooled. And Shigaev was never that good. Like he was good for the time. But if you ever saw Ruslan Shigaev, he was a very, very chubby fighter. He was about 5'10". He called himself White Tyson. He fought nothing like Mike Tyson. But he was very he was well schooled, but he was very, very, big, round, fat. He was like a beer keg. That's the best way to describe him. And at cruiserweight, he would have been lethal. But a heavyweight, no. Big up to Ice Wallow Cum. I have no idea what the name means. And the part of me is regretting reading that. But big up anyway. Cash may get past Bentley, but he ain't doing anything at world level. Yes, me and you are on the same page. Me and you, I reckon round 10. I reckon the 10th round. Me and you are on the same page, Joe. I haven't done my picks, but I'm putting him down for round 10. Still Morning finishing second last week. Do you know what? Last week, I could have maybe broke the top 20, but two things cost me. The fight that was on MTK where Ricky Summers fought, I forget the guy's name, but you know that I got my fighters mixed up. I thought he was fighting Andreas Sterling and not Ricky Summers. And if I'd known he was fighting Ricky Summers, I would have put down, I don't know if I would have put split decision. I forget the guy's name, but I wouldn't have put him down to win by KO. And I was snapping because I was like, it was only when I sent it off, I was like, oh, fuck, that's a different. I was thinking Andreas Sterling, and I know he's not that good. And I was thinking, bollocks, about putting the wrong fighter down. Because if I'd not, Ricky Summers is useful. and I knew I would have got something for that. Brett was never that good, agreed, but he is a shell of what he was. Oh yeah, like I mean, he was never amazing, but at least he could punch. There was things he could do well. I think he did well when he was coming up. But remember, he was promoted by Ricky Hatton early on. He fought on Box Nation a few times, but now it's all gone. Slow as molasses, fit as cash avoided. Fowler in the amateurs. I didn't follow their amateur careers very closely. I know we could have gone to the Olympics, but he didn't. I forget what it was, but he didn't go to the Olympics. I know that. My Bentley get done is pretty stiff. Yep, easy to read. Bentley hits too hard. He'll try it in a cash. Yeah, I'm going with late stoppage accumulation. And big up to Joe actually as well, Justin. I felt bad when I seen you came second. But we got a new season starting. We got a new season. Big up to Champ Ross and the prediction league. I love that prediction league. Goal for this season is to get into the top 15. I'll get in top 15. I'll be happy. I had a few weekends last season that just really didn't go my way. Brown looked like a good win for White to yeah, like I mean, in hindsight, there was people saying it was a dangerous fight at the time. In hindsight, I mean, I think the Sky commentary said you'd wonder how he ever won recall a world title, but they said you'd wonder how he ever seemed to win a world title. And it's like, well, if Luis Ortiz is 21, then Mike 41. Yeah, Luis Ortiz, I reckon Luis Ortiz is about 47, 48. That's what I reckon. I reckon he's about 47, 48. And I seen Frank Sanchez's picture on the poster of, I think, for his next fight. I think he's fighting on Canelo's undercard. There's no way he's a year older than me. No way in hell. Is it? No. No way in hell. No way. He looks, lads, and like he's definitely, if he's not in his 40s, seriously, he's in his late 30s. No way in hell. Boxing Squared is really, yeah, I love Boxing Squared. My go-to channel for heavyweights and for heavyweight prospects as well. He's very good. That's the thing. He knows these heavyweights that I don't know. So if he's covering them, I know to keep my eye on him. So Boxing Squared, my opinion, for heavyweights, one of the best on YouTube. And like he's got over 30,000 subscribers, so most people would know him anyway. But yeah, easily one of my favorite on YouTube. One of my go-to channels for the heavyweights, definitely. A big up to Jeff every single time, man. I hope you keep him well. I hope everything is good with you, my man. Big up to you. What else we got? Oh, yeah. I like the 2020 games of cricket. The 2020 games go by quick. I know that it's a quick format. You only get so many balls. But I think it's like 6 balls per over. I don't know how many balls 620s is, but it's a few. It's not as many as there is in like a 50 over game or a test match, but yeah, that's cricket in a nutshell. It's cricket in a nutshell. I'm definitely missed some chats here. Where are we going? Usyk. Well, Usyk is definitely going to be fighting Joe Joyce next, I reckon. And I'm taking Joe Joyce to win that fight. Seriously, lads and lassies, I am taking Joe Joyce to beat Alexander Usyk. In my opinion. We'll see how it goes. I think you were top 15 in your first season. Good fun, that league. I love it, man. I just enjoy doing it, you know. I enjoy doing it. Even if I don't win or top anything like that, I just enjoy doing it. I just have fun doing it. Finished 12th last season. That's your second season. Yeah, like I could have got into the top 20 in the first season, but I forgot the picks on the last week. And this one, I just messed up. I just got the boxers wrong. It's as simple as that. I thought Andreas Sterling was fighting, and I got him and Ricky Summers mixed up. It happens, you know what happens. It all happens, man. But look, it's good fun, and you know you got to big up Champ Ross. You know, great little league, cost nothing. It's brilliant. Now, wait there a sec. I want to, because I'm going to call it here. I didn't want to stay on too long. I just wanted to do a quick one. Just wanted to do an hour tonight, because I believe you may have a lot of stuff going on outside that I need to get like sorted and stuff like that. So I don't want to go on too long. I just wanted to get a good hour in, have a chat with all you guys. Pick up the Keane every time. Out of all the heavyweight prospects, you think will go the furthest? Jared Anderson, and he's only 21. He looks very talented, very athletic. I think he's going to do wonders in the heavyweight division. I think he's going to do very good. Same. I've done a big U-turn on Joyce. I think, yeah. I think we read a bit too much into the heavyweight fight they had in the amateurs. All right, they both improved. I think Joe Joyce will give Usyk nightmares. I'm picking him. I'm picking him to win. I'm picking him to win that fight. Agree. Jared Anderson. Definitely Jared Anderson. I still hold out hope in Daniel Dubois, believe it or not. I do. I still have a lot of hope for Dubois. I think he'll do very good. In terms of others, Jared Anderson is one of them fighters where I remember people were telling me about him. Because like you know how it is. You get told, look at this heavy look, and you look at them, you're just like, people were telling me about a year or two ago, James Wilson. And I was like, no, this guy is garbage. But when I saw Anderson, I was like, yep, there's something, this kid's good. This kid has it. Whatever it is, this kid has it. He looks very good. Michael Coffey looks good as well. You know, he definitely looks good as well. But Jared Anderson, for me, easily one of the best in boxing, best prospects. Easily one of the best. I put Luis Ortiz early 50s. He claimed as a child he sat ringside for. He said he saw Muhammad Ali fighting live. Now, Muhammad Ali last fought in 1981. So that would make Luis Ortiz 2 years old if his date of birth is accurate. So for me, he if he remembers that, he can't be 41 if he remembers that. He's only 2. Although I remember things from when I was 2, to be fair. And I mean that, I genuinely do. I finished 10th my first season, but a bit of beginner's luck. Yeah, like there's fighters I didn't know that I end up like knowing about, basically, because I just want to know them for the prediction league. Justice Hooney, excellent. I think he's gone back to the amateurs, but Justice Hooney is a very good shout as well. I like what I see with him. Justice Hooney is excellent. I think there you go. Put Paul Gannon in with Justice Hooney and see how he gets on. See how that, I'm going to stay on for another few minutes. See how that goes. But Justice Hooney, I still hold out hope for Daniel Dubois. Wadley, Fabio Wadley, jury's still out on that. Yeah, he got the wins over Molina and over Richard Latte, but Molina, I mean, Jesus, people. Molina, you could tell if he was in shape and he was trying, he could have won that fight. I'm telling you now, if Molina was in shape and he came to win, he could have won that fight against Fabio Wadley. Now, Wadley there's potential there. He's got a good jab, but the way he fights with his hands down and, you know, I think that he's not experienced enough to be able to, you know, fight like that. I think that could come back to bite him, you know. Damn, G, man, absolutely savage about Ortiz's age. See, man, I'm only just saying he has to be closer to 50. If he was born in 1979, it makes him 2 years old when Ali last fought, which was 1981 against Trevor Berbick. If he remembers that, and he was saying that he remembers seeing that fight live, he definitely would have been older than that. Definitely. So for me, he's definitely late 40s. I reckon 46, 47. Wilson, terrible, completely untalented. Stick him in, but that's a competitive fight. You know, James the Beast Wilson is all for show. Literally, he's an overinflated cruiserweight. He's just pumped up full of weights. He looks brilliant on the pads, but in the ring, he looks terrible. I mean, he's got a majority draw with a journeyman 2 years ago. I don't think he's fought since then. He looks terrible. Like him against Lovejoy. Jesus, I mean, pick him, flip a coin, lads. Who would you honestly, like, that's a compare? I wouldn't tell you who I'd pick in that fight because Wilson looks terrible. You think Lovejoy looks terrible. If Wilson can't get rid of Lovejoy in the first couple of rounds, he's done. If you imagine putting that as a 10-rounder, if James Wilson can't get rid of Lovejoy in 3 rounds, he is finished because there's no way he's going to last any longer. I mean, Jesus, people. He looked, as I said, he looks great on Instagram, looks great on the pads, but anyone can do it. You get someone who's athletic and you teach them the bare basics of boxing, they could probably look great in the pads. You put them in the ring to fight and they're getting lit up. So no, Wilson definitely not. Him against Lovejoy, make it happen. Make the only fight for Dave Allen, Allen versus Lovejoy. I want to see Christopher Lovejoy versus David Allen. Me and Dale will do our best to try and get that fight over the line. I want to see that fight. All right, lads. For now, I'm going to call it. I'm just going to call it quits here. But wait, I want something to come up on screen before I go. Right, there's 38 people in the chat. Appreciate you all dropping in, smashing the like button, all that. Link there. Right, I don't ask for much at all on this channel. I never do. I just ask that you smash the like button. But for this time, young Mateo, go from me. Don't ask for anything. If you could, even to quit anything to help young Mateo with his, basically with his surgery, whatever that's going on. His dad Gonzalo in the Philippines, and part of the BDA family, member of the boxing community, absolutely brilliant guy. Let's help him out whatever way we can. So I don't look. I know times are tough for everyone, but even if it's only to quit to help try and get little Mateo over the line, and hopefully, as I said, one day in however many years when he's grown up, he can be. We can see him, maybe see him fight. Who knows? But we can be telling stories about how when he was born, he had all these issues he overcame, and hopefully we can give whatever you can. It's only £2, whatever you give. I don't mind, but definitely give it a look at. Link is there. Link is pinned. Link is pinned. So Mateo, shout out to him. Big up the G-Man and the whole chat. If he's cut on the way out, I'm going to leave it there. I had a good stream. We enjoyed this. We will do one on Sunday as we always do, and we'll do some videos in the meantime. But for now, lads and lassies, I'll talk to you. Peace. Enjoy your Thursday, and all the best for everyone. I hope everyone has a great week, great weekend. All the best.